Councilmember Watkins, can we check your audio real quick? Mr. Watkins, can we check your audio? Mr. Watkins, can we check your audio before we get started?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you just fine.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council. I call to order this Haslet City Council meeting Monday, May 19th, 2025 at 7:01 p.m. There is a quorum present. If you'll bow your heads, I'll offer a short invocation and then stand with for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you, Almighty God, for your tender mercies and your wisdom and your guidance. We thank you always. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Citizen participation and comments. Do we have any?
Yes, sir. We have several to speak on an item on the agenda.
And the item is what?
The item is
Let me guess, 8C.
Yes. That would be correct.
We have this Bluetooth thing going on. I know it. All right, very good. All right, we'll call on those at that time.
I apologize. I have one that's not on the agenda.
Okay, let's see.
My last name is Menlo.
Yes.
Bella, no. Go.
Yes, she's just wanting to speak, not on an item, not on the agenda. Sarah Nimbu.
Ms. Nimbu, if you come up to the podium and state your name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Sarah Nembu, and I live at 2115 FM 156. And I'm here in White. I brought my timer so I don't go over. I just have a point of clarification on behalf of the Park Board. So I've been a member of the Park Board since 2018. And I just want to request clarification because according to our policy and bylaws, the purpose of our board is to advise the City Council on regarding adequate community parks and services, recreation services. And so just going to give you a few facts here. Since my belonging to the board or volunteering with the board in 2018, we had a line item that stated, discuss, consider, act on the following fields: Nance Field, Firehouse Field, Gamble Park, and Community Park. In November of 2019, we then added Memorial Garden because of interest in making sure that that stayed well. In September of 23, they were removed. In October of 23, they were replaced at my request. In April of 24, they were removed and replaced. The wording was then changed to discussion regarding updates. I reached out to Jeremy Page, who's the city attorney in May of 2024, and he advised that I reach out to council at that time, as well as the mayor, and I had emailed the mayor, and he said that he would get back to me with some updates, and so it was fine for that year. We were communicating well. And in May of 2025, just took place, I guess it was April, not May. We haven't had our May yet. It was completely removed. And the title now says Updates at City Parks, not giving us a chance to delegate, deliberate, or talk. And according to Mr. Page, we may only discuss agenda items. And so I would just like at some point for the city council to consider addressing that concern of ours on the park board. As a park board, we would like to advise you. There was an EDCB meeting on April 23rd of 2025, in which clarification was asked about consideration of the park board involvement. And unfortunately, the mayor advised them that we don't advise them on parks activities regarding a piece of land that was considering being donated and sold. And I don't want to get into their board stuff, but if you would like us to contribute, we would like to contribute information regarding park and recreation and not just be a party planning committee. And so I know that we can't discuss this here, but I am tied because I can't request that to be put on. But you guys can request those agenda items to be placed back on. And so I would like to ask for your consideration of the Nance Field, Firehouse Field, Gammo Park, Community Park, and Memorial Garden to be placed back on our agenda for consideration, discussion, updates, and all of the things related to that. The other thing that I would like to also ask you is, as long as I've been on the park board, Fund 15 has been on our financial statement for approval. But the way I'm understanding it, we don't actually really say what happens with that money. And so I'm happy that we are reviewing it, but I don't think it's fair for us to make it part of our approval for our financial statement. So I'd like to ask you guys to maybe move that to a different section. In January of 2025, there was a line item for $39,000 to the Gamble Fall Zone, as well as $10,000 to community park projects. And so as a board, we just sort of pushed that and did not approve those statements. So from January through April, there was $102,000 of expenses that we saw on there and have asked for a reporting of. Those were associated with Belchiff and Associates, as well as Yazel Peoples regarding some drainage. So we're happy that you guys are communicating that with us, but we don't feel like it's appropriate for us to approve that or have it be on our financial report for approval. And so we're hoping maybe we could move that to sort of the discussion, consideration, and act on the other fields and the parks that are included in Haslet. I'm so sorry, I have gone over my time. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nambu. Do we have any other speakers? All right, very good. Items of community interest. Memorial Day, Monday, May 26, 2025. All the city offices will be closed in observance of Memorial Day. Our Memorial Day celebration will be held on Monday, May 26 at 10 a.m. at the Memorial Garden in the community park. You have opportunity to sponsor a flag to be placed at the Memorial Garden for either Memorial Day or Independence Day. Go to our website and click on Sponsor a Flag to find more information. The Haslet Fire Rescue and Fire Support Kids Fire Camp will be held Saturday, June the 7th, 2025, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, if you'll go on our website and click on Kids Fire Camp for more information. It's always a great time, and those kids that do come, they really enjoy it. Independence Day celebration. That's going to be held June 27th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the community park. That's our fireworks show. Very good. Council, if we go to administrative reports, do you have any questions on the administrative reports?
Yes, Mayor Halsey, I did on the engineering report. I had 2 questions for clarification. Let me pull it
Sure.
up. It's noted in blue. Let me find it. And it's talking about, let me find it here. This is really blurry. Okay, yours looks better than mine. Where it says HWE 25, I wasn't sure what HWE was referring to. Let me find it on here.
Is that under
Can you scroll down?
general engineering, development, capital projects, miscellaneous?
Oh, there. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's in blue. It's under Fund 20 Road Improvements Repair, and it listed Brentwood 25 in blue and Westport 25 in blue and Intermodal 25 in blue, but I wasn't sure what HWE was referring to in blue.
HWE.
Correct.
Will-
Do you see what I'm talking about, James? Under the Fund 20, up a little bit. Good. Now go like kind of in the right in the middle, where it says the Meadows. To the right of that, yes, right there.
Pavement surveys has
Could it be Hugh White,
2020.
Oh, Hugh White Estates.
possibly?
Yes, that's what it is.
That is it.
Thank you very much. That was my first question. Thank you. And the second one is right below that where it said Schreiber Drive Drainage Improvement Plan developed. I was just wanting kind of an update to see what the plan is, how it's coming along in that 200 block of Schreiber.
It is coming along very well. They are at the end of their design, and this week they'll be presenting that to me. Then I will be bringing it to the council.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor, I've got a question on the gas well report, and just when, Mike Anderson, when they do this, do they inspect all the gas wells within a month, or is there, do they do a set number in a given time frame? The reason I'm asking is there's a gas well that's, I guess it'd be considered on the Sweetgrass property. It's at the back of Haslet Park, and it's pretty close to probably between Schreiber and Berry, but the gates are just open. They've been open, I've been back there multiple times. The gates stay open, and even the gates into the actual holding tanks and pump stations are, not locked or secured. So, if I ran liquid propane, I'd pull in there and fill up. But somebody needs to go and look at that and see.
So your question is, do they inspect every
Yes.
well every month? And that answer is no. There's too many. There's over 136 wells in Haslet.
Okay.
And they do have them on the schedule, but I do recall that very specific well being on a report maybe 3 or 4 months ago, after which that report is issued, then it goes to code enforcement to follow up on those, to work in conjunction with them. Do you have any comment to that? And probably that very specific well.
Right. I don't have anything for this one specifically. I made a note, and I'll go out there tomorrow and make sure that gets addressed.
Yeah. That's just a safety concern because,
Sure.
you got kids stomping around, and obviously they can get to, sensitive equipment back there. So,
Anytime I see those open, I try to make a phone call to get those closed up.
okay. Appreciate it.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, council?
Yes, Mayor Holt, I had one more on the Economic Development Report. I know that at our May 5th meeting, we were given an activity report update, but it's not on this report.
That's
So I was
correct.
wondering why those items weren't listed on the report.
That was a report, and it can be put on here, I suppose. Mr. Schwanke?
Yeah, we can put that on there. They're very generic, what we presented last time because of confidentiality.
So since, because I'm looking at the report from last time, so that will be added on to this report, but we can't really discuss or ask questions about, it says fast food retail along SH 156, but we can't talk about that in open session, or is that something we would need to do in executive?
Well, as Mr. Page explained in the email to you, there are certain reasons why.
Right, I responded back to him, I was waiting to hear back. On our August 7th, 2023 meeting and our August 21st, 2023 meeting, we had an economic development update. So I wasn't sure if that was something we could do again, or it shouldn't have been done the first time. That's where I was confused.
I would have to go back and see what topic those were.
They were just general updates on some of the different things that are happening around the city, correct?
But they were very specific projects.
Right, just as this is too, it says Latera Commercial Development, 2 new office buildings, Fremont Toyota I-35 West. I know Mr. Page directed that you had mentioned we talk kind of individually, and that's where I personally, I understand you want to get everybody's opinion, but I think those conversations should be held in open session. My concern is the Texas Open Government
Well,
Act,
in,
so.
in a number, and what was given, that particular report that was given,
On May 5th?
right, had to do with projects that we knew of, but yet were not public.
Right. That's why I was wondering if we could talk about it in
that
executive
is-
session.
That's wherein lies we're limited.
Right.
And we are respecting the developer or potential property owner's confidentiality. So that's not identified. As soon as they file a public document, such as a plat or engineering plan of some sort like that, then we will. You'll see it.
It'll come to
Then we can
council at that
speak,
point?
we can speak to it in open session.
So I guess my question is, why can't we talk about it in closed session?
Because any of those projects have not approached the city for any kind of incentives, i.e. Property tax abatements
Okay.
or funds to put in their sewer lines or water lines. We have no financial interest in it.
So all of these are just completely hypothetical?
No, they're not hypothetical.
Okay.
They are just at a point where they are not public, and we cannot reveal their project.
To the public, I understand that. I'm saying, why doesn't the city council governing
Because
body?
the closed session rules of the Open Meeting Act are very explicit. And so we'll have a workshop on that, very specific to address several items, but that's one of them, to explain the nuance of that law. I just recently read one that involved a county commissioner office here in Texas, and the attorney general was all over them.
You're referring to Texas Local Government Code 551087 about deliberating with economic development negotiations?
Yes.
Okay. So we wouldn't be discussing, it limits us, but or deliberating, I understand we can't, but I didn't understand discussion was we couldn't discuss. I guess the only reason I'm asking is because of those 2 meetings we had in August where we were given updates and nothing was.
Well, I will go
Deliberate
back
on.
and review those.
Okay.
If you'll send me a text message or an email,
Okay, with
me
those 2
and
dates.
Mr. Swanky,
Okay.
to those very specific items, we'll go look at it, and we'll come back and have an answer as to why,
That sounds great. Thank you.
and clarify that.
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right?
And we'll add them to the reports moving forward? You said that was fine.
We can add these, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Council, do you have any other questions on any of the reports? If not, okay. Let's move to updates on active items, projects, and event recaps. Haslet Parkway project status. Haslet project status, we're in current discussions with TxDOT. TxDOT, as in 2019, the city of Haslet gave all its management rights to TxDOT on that project. And in that, they're responsible for the construction and all the accounting for that project. The project got out of hand for them. They had to I'll say, what's the word that they use? Suspended Zachary Construction's contract on that project many months ago. They did not inform Haslet of what they were doing. So, I'll say it in public. TxDOT Fort Worth District is not known as being communicators, but they do have that requirement. That has led to other issues. And so, nor did TxDOT inform Haslet that they were suspending that contract. They did not inform Haslet. I know some residents, and I've gotten questions on it, very specifically an open records request regarding what's going on out there today, what's happening right now. Well, again, TxDOT Fort Worth District did not inform Haslet that they were re-engaging the contractor on that phase 2 portion. And so it's been a challenge for 2.5 years to get communication on that project from TxDOT Fort Worth District. I'm very specific to say Fort Worth District. There are some fine districts in the state of Texas. So this Haslet Parkway project is a very tight priority discussion, not alone with just Haslet, Texas and TxDOT, but other government entities. They are involved. So I hope to maybe have something more and definitive to brief the council on at our next meeting. Fire station sanitary sewer project status. I'll let Mr. Tucker give us the status on that.
Okay, basically that sewer line, the piping and all, and manholes, everything is in place. So all the actual line has been constructed. We did a preliminary walkthrough last Friday. We identified a handful of things for them to work on a punch list, and there's a few remaining testing that has to be done before it'll be considered substantially completed.
But soon, there are a number of, as any project of that size is, there are a number of items to take care of, but they're in that process right now, and I believe they're in the process of the beginning phases to test that line and the integrity of that line, and just ensure it's got the proper slope and it'll contain the pressures, et cetera, required.
Yes, we're expecting them to be doing vacuum testing, and then they use a rover camera that goes through that verifies that there's no sags in the pipe and that the pipe is in good condition.
Very good. Congressional appropriation status. Council, you permitted me to retain an attorney and a firm to represent us in federal appropriations last year and again this year. As I have learned about, though the committee, Congressional Committee Appropriations Committee did approve our $2.3 million request at full funding, and it was included in the bill to go before Congress. It did. But in this budgeting process is Congress, through the continuing resolution that they passed, they deleted all community development appropriations. And we were in that category is community development in that farmers market and pavilion project. So given that, and as time, considering the effort involved to apply for one of these grants, I chose not to apply for any congressional community development project grants, because that's the only type of project that Haslet is eligible for. We've reviewed the city with their firm to go, what projects can we ask funding for? But they are all community development type related. So I chose not to do that this year. So with that, this week I will be writing that attorney and a firm the 30-day notice and terminate that agreement, because there is no need for them, unfortunately.
Mayor, you missed item 6C. on
Say it
the-
again.
You missed item 6C on the fire station expansion.
Oh, I sure did. Thank you very much.
Mayor Halsey, before you move on when you give that termination, I think we talked about he'll be prorated what he's already worked, correct? And then the rest of that 50,000 will just stop. Is that how that works?
It's
I just
it's
can't
30
remember.
days at a time.
Okay, so 30, he's been
So,
paid up to
yeah,
30.
let's say I write the letter
right.
tomorrow and send it, they'll finish this month out,
Perfect, okay, thank you.
and it goes no farther than that. Fire station expansion project status. That is moving very well. Mr. Tucker, do you have any comments on it?
The only comments I would say is they are getting closer to pouring for the slab. They were finalizing the main sewer line. There were some adjustments needed in the elevations there, but they should be getting close to a foundation pour very soon.
Yeah, these two projects were coordinated so that that sewer line would be in position for the fire station to be hooked up to it as soon as it was ready. And the reason being, we've got right now, the fire station is served by a anaerobic system, which is just not sufficient to serve the fire station and the expansion. So,
And they've been coordinating with the county on the shutdown of the aerobic, so those things have lined up pretty well. We should be a perfect timing between that sewer line ready and that taken offline.
yeah, this, I just got to mention, I got to compliment our staff, our engineering, and all those involved. Haslet has so many, now this is relative to Haslet, Texas, so many capital projects going right now, whether it was roads, major water lines, major sewer lines, buildings, etc., and planning going forth. This is really, we're just getting started, just this expansion and this, it is what somewhat sudden growth that we've experienced has really put a demand on us. And I appreciate the council's responded well in these needs, but they are needs. These aren't nice to have items, they are needs. But thank you. Consent agenda. We have the approval of the April 21, 2025 regular city council meeting minutes, the May 5th, 2025 regular city council meeting minutes, and the May 13th, 2025 special city council meeting minutes. I could entertain a motion, please.
Yes, Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items.
Motion is made to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's, Mr. Watkins, did you vote?
Yes, sir. Aye.
It's unanimous. Item 8, public hearings, ordinances, resolutions, and action items. 8A, discuss, consider, and act regarding the selection of President pro tempore, the Mayor pro tem, for a one-year term. Each year, the council selects a Mayor pro tem, and the Mayor pro tem is the standby in case the mayor becomes inactive for whatever reason. Council.
Yes, Mayor, I'll make a motion that we select Councilwoman Tanya Morrow to be President Pro Tem for a one-year term.
Motion is made to, Tanya Morrow, Councilmember Tanya Morrow is nominated for President Pro Tempore for a period of 1 year. Is there a second?
I second that.
There is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Watkins?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Very good. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Morrow. 8B, discuss, consider, and act regarding the approval of amending the Haslet zoning ordinance to allow a maximum accessory building / structure of 3,200 square feet in lieu of the current maximum size of 3,000 square feet. Mr. Schwanke.
Mayor and members of the council, back on March 17th, the council, acting as the Board of Adjustments, had a meeting, and there was a gentleman that was seeking a variance to allow a 3,200 square foot accessory structure rather than a 3,000, and he stated that that it would be cheaper for him to do that from a kit. So we went and we contacted 4 of the majors, and when I say we, it was I contacted 3, and Mr. Tucker contacted Mueller. Plus, we contacted 3 other builders that build accessory structures here in Haslet. And we found out that that is not the case, that it was consistently, if the buildings all had the same characteristics, like the same eave height and the number of doors and everything, they would be more expensive for a 3,200 square feet structure. So we took this to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the Planning and Zoning Commission thought that 3,000 square foot was an adequate size, and they didn't see any reason why they should change it to 3,200, and that was their recommendation.
All right.
Mayor, your mic.
Thank you. All right. We'll go to a public hearing at this time. And the item is allowing, currently our maximum single accessory building size is 3,000 versus do we up it to 3,200 square feet? And the premise was there was a claim made that it's cheaper to buy a 3,200 square feet building than it is a 3,000 square foot building. And staff and have researched this, and all the manufacturers and constructors that they contacted said 3,000 is always cheaper. It's a matter of how much material is in it. So I open the public hearing at 7:33 p.m. for anyone who would like to speak on this topic. Is there anybody online?
No, sir.
All right, there's no one in the chambers, there's no one online. I close the public hearing at 7:33 p.m. Okay, council, this is yours.
I just wanted to thank staff for giving such good research and information to make a decision, so thank you.
I'm good. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. I'd make a motion that we do not approve amending the Haslet zoning ordinance to allow a maximum accessory building structure of 32,000 square feet in lieu of the current maximum size of 3,000 square feet.
The motion is made to deny change of the Haslet zoning ordinance to allow the maximum accessory building structure size of 3,200 square feet in lieu of the current maximum size of 3,000 square feet. Is there a second?
I'll second.
You can do that on your own.
I know, but I saw his mic on, so.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's who I hear first. All right. There is a second. All in favor? All in favor? Mr. Watkins?
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous. Thank you, council. 8C, discuss, consider, and act on a noise variance request for Haslet Crossing Addition construction site. Mr. Thetford, do you want to introduce this item?
Absolutely, sir. Mayor, Council, This agenda item here, this is in regards to approximately 35 acre construction site where 3 large warehouses are being constructed. This is just north of the Caraway subdivision. It's between Pask Drive and Haslet Parkway to the north and south, and also between Intermodal Parkway and Harmon east and west. This is in regards to a noise variance being requested by the contractor for some early morning concrete pours that they have planned. The applicant is here, and I believe they're ready to make a presentation.
Mr. Bell, please come up, state your name and your address, and you will represent.
Hi, my name is Blake Bell. I represent Stream Realty Partners at 2001 Ross Avenue, Suite 400 in Dallas, Texas. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As I mentioned before, my name is Blake Bell. I'm a member of the development team for the Haslet Crossing project. We appreciate your time tonight to discuss our variance and noise ordinance. And I do want to emphasize the point, this is only requesting it for large format concrete pours. All other work will be performed during normal working hours. We do believe that this request aligns all parties, including the city, the development team, and residents in a beneficial plan to reduce overall project inconveniences, quickly remove construction from the area, and thereby open surrounding roads to the public and their use. So the first item here is that it does promote public and worker safety, both by separation of heavy equipment and truck traffic. By allowing us to start earlier, we can mobilize, get those things on site and staged that are not during the busy times of people trying to get out and live their lives and get to work or whatever it may be. So it's pulling time. The trucks are on the road there. It's also reducing the number overall trucks that will be flowing through the site to allow that early pour, because they will complete concrete placement activities earlier. In addition, it will reduce worker heat exposure. As we all know, the Texas summers are hot, and so allowing these crews and these employees to get out and work in the early mornings is the cool of the early morning, as opposed to the heat of the day. This also, granting this request, reduces our overall construction duration, as I mentioned earlier, and I believe there's a site exhibit if we want to show that. But through our development, we have improvements to Pask Drive to the south of us, which is widening it with the addition of a bike lane as well. We also are adding an additional north-south connection between Pask and Haslet Parkway, as well as putting in a connection between Intermodal and Haslet Parkway, which I know is important to the community. Another note is that allowing us to start earlier also allows us to increase the quantity and size of our pours, which thereby reduces the number of pour days required for the project. So you go to pouring 2 to 3 times a week as opposed to pouring 5 days a week, where we're a constant nuisance every single day. I did have a follow-up meeting with the team this morning, and I do want to point out that our first slab on grade pour is currently scheduled for May 27th, the end of May. This purple dash, or the purple line that you see, is our southernmost tilt wall panel elevation of Building C. In addition to creating our main primary access to the site off of Haslet Parkway as opposed to Pask to funnel all truck traffic through the north and away from residents, we have also sequenced our pour sequence and our construction to erect this wall of 47-foot tall panels to be stood first on the project, thereby additionally reducing our impact and creating a natural sound barrier. That is currently scheduled to be done at the very end of July, early August. So we are requesting, or as part of this variance request, the most painful portion of it is end of May to end of July, and then that tilt wall elevation stands up, creates an additional barrier for us. Again, the current schedule has us wrapping up, this request wraps up through early to mid-November, subject to weather delays, but that also has us completing all of our major concrete pours, all of our major roadway improvements and things before the end of the year, before Christmas season, before people are traveling. And as I had mentioned earlier, the most painful portion of that is in the summer months. So trying to be thoughtful of school traffic and students as they're trying to prepare for large tests and things in that nature. Additionally, we have instructed our contractor and everyone involved in the project that every light tower associated with us will point any direction other than south. So on top of noise, we are also not going to produce light pollution for our neighbors to the south. We will pump or lift all of our project-related concrete that is not thoroughfare improvements or direct roadway expansions from our property. So there will be no street closures to pass or for cranes or pumps. And that will create additional space between us and the residents to the south as we set up our pumps and our trucks to be on our property. Additionally, we've sequenced our concrete trucks so that the washout area will be to the north of the property, as far north as we can make it with the site logistics to, again, further utilize our site and our area to create some additional separation.
James, could you zoom out, show the entire property? Good. Mr. Bell, we've had discussions, and I've relayed to this, this is not the first time we've had concrete pours and people requesting to do early pours, or even just during the normal days, starting at, I think at, I know our ordinance allows construction to start 30 minutes prior to sun up. Is that correct, Mr. Thetford? So
That is correct.
say such as in May 27th, that would be approximately 5:30 to 5:45 in the morning.
Correct.
And that's what the current ordinance states. But even at that time of day, the biggest complaints we've had, the number one is this incessant beeping sound from this equipment. And number two is when it comes to the washout, after every pour, concrete truck, they're somewhere out on the property, they go to wash their truck out. So can you tell us what you're doing with regard to that?
So specifically speaking to that, the entrance will be on the north side, and we will have drivers with the ability to work counterclockwise on the site, if you will. And so really the goal is have them come to the north side and only be in drive as they're moving to the pumps, not in reverse. That is another big key to having the southern wall stood first. We will, in any area or time that a backup alarm needs to be utilized, that will be disconnected, and flagmen will be utilized in their stead to, again, further alleviate. Honestly, the truck beeping noise is more invasive than the pump or the placement of the concrete. And then again, we will move the washout to the farthest north that we can on the property and sequence our trucks and our drivers and try to train them as best we can to be able to navigate the pump and the washout with as minimal reverse as required.
So you're saying that the horns will be disconnected?
The horns will be disconnected in lieu of flagmen.
All right then. Council, do you have any questions?
Sorry, flagmen will be utilized in lieu of.
Very good.
Clarify.
I would, Council, you got any questions of Mr. Bell, the presenter? We're not in discussion and consideration yet, but it's just any question that you might have for Mr. Bell.
Just a quick question, more clarification maybe for those that maybe aren't as familiar, and we've done it before. We're not looking to put in a temporary concrete batch plant here. We're simply bringing in concrete trucks from an outside batch plant, correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
All right. Yes.
Mayor Halsey, I have a question for him as well.
Yes, please.
Sir, in regards to the variance, are you looking to work the overnight hours 7 days a week, or what's your plan on how many days a week you are looking to do this? And you may have already said this, I might have missed it, but what's the total duration length for the variance that you're requesting?
Yes, thank you for the question. We are not anticipating any work, early work on Sundays or any work in general on Sundays. The Saturday would only be utilized should we have a force majeure weather event that has rained us out or delayed us during the week. That would be utilized as a makeup day, but would be a last resort and few and far between. The preference for everyone on the team is to get this done Monday through Friday only as the early work days. And then you had asked me an overall duration request of the variance. It is from May, which we're halfway through now, through November, with the goal to finish it by mid-November, our large concrete pours. Again, that's the only scope of work being requested for the early starts.
You're projecting a 6-month period for concrete pours?
Yes, sir. Both structural slabs, tilt walls, and the surrounding paving and roadways.
You guys are going to pour your tilt walls on site?
Yes, sir. They'll be poured on the slab, which is why we're starting at C, the southern building, getting that slab on the ground first, starting May 27th, then gives us the casting bed to be able to pour the panels. So the quicker those cure and get placed, the quicker they can be lifted and put in place.
Copy that. And then one more, if you don't mind. What is the highest temperature that you are going to allow your guys to pour during the day? You know, I know concrete is definitely affected by temperature. So, I mean, during the summer months, the only time for you guys to be able to pour concrete will be in the early morning, overnight hours. So that's why I was curious on your duration, because the deeper into the summer we get, the more overnight stuff you're going to have to do.
Yes, sir. The human condition is more important than the effects of heat onto the concrete. But, I mean, temperature can range drastically, and then humidity can play a huge factor into the overall feels like temperature to the guys and the crews performing the work. But all of those are assessed pre-pour days beforehand. But you are correct that August and September, when you're hitting triple digits days, there's more of a health risk to people out there starting later in the day.
Thank you.
You have two small buildings and then kind of one large building on here. Kind of guesstimate, how long does it usually take to pour one of these large buildings?
We should be done with most of our building concrete structural pour in September. And then we're moving into paving and roadway improvements and things like that.
Okay.
So your first pour will be for the building C,
Slab, yes, sir.
and then you'll stand up the tilt walls
Yes, sir.
thereafter, and then you'll move on to building A and B.
Yes, sir. And we have started pier foundations during normal working hours so that those piers have had time, those foundations have had time to cure so that they're ready to receive the tilt panels as soon as we can.
Understood. Okay.
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes.
If you're not approved to work overnight, how much further does that push out your timeline?
Our variance request goes from May of 25 to May of 26. It will be a 1 year long project overall.
As opposed to being done by November? Wow.
And I had one other question. So, and there's 3 options that we're considering for approval, correct? 9 a.m., Monday through Saturday?
Scenarios, yes, ma'am.
Scenarios? Okay.
And the difference there, again, is the 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. is really just going to increase the amount of trucks that the public feels through the course of the day, because there's 2 less hours that they've been able to arrive to site and place concrete.
All right, then. I will, staff, do you have any questions? Public Works, any comment?
I think that the plan that is submitted looks sufficient and seems to mitigate the noise and the light considerations. As long as they adhered to that and provided a 24-hour notice, I think it would be acceptable.
A 24-hour notice of what?
As long as they provide a contact for any issues that arise during that, I think the considerations they gave seems suitable.
Understood, understood. Well, I did want to make a comment in your presentation that in offering up these schedules is that you don't anticipate any work on Sundays. Don't even go there. It's not allowed.
Yes. I should use stronger language. We will not work on Sundays.
Very,
There's
very
not a
good.
scenario where we will be out there on Sundays.
Well, I couldn't resist.
Yes.
All right then.
Fair point.
Okay, council, let's go to the public hearing. I open the public hearing at 7:51 p.m. Anyone like to speak on this matter? And we have a number of speakers. And could you give me the first one, please?
Yes, I also have some people that aren't here that would like things read into the agenda, but the first speaker that's present is Laura Schlotteroff.
Ms. Slaughterhoff, if you would please come to the podium and state your name and address.
Council, my name is Laura Kidder Schlotteroff, that was my maiden name, and I live at 1195 Wildson Way. I'm representing the following named 8 residents of Caraway. Their addresses are listed on the public appearance card. Werner Mossert, Melissa Belcher, Chris Lim, Susan Green, Jennifer Wilson, Steve Denny, Carrie Pitzinger, Aaron Splon. Please deny the variance to Chapter 8, Art 8.04.003.9, construction noise of the Haslet Code of Ordinances. Granting this variance would be very disruptive to the quality of sleep for the residents along Wildson Way. They are allowed to pass drive and the industrial property. I myself have insomnia, and it's hard for me to fall asleep and get back to sleep once I'm awakened. I also have a son who has sleep issues. The request to start as early as 1 a.m. is unreasonable. Now I'm asking some additional questions that I hope can be answered for myself. Are the 47-foot tall panels part of Lot 3? Sorry, that's been answered. I can appreciate your choice to stand the panels up first to block sound. I can appreciate using flagmen instead of backup beeps. I can appreciate positioning the lighting so that it doesn't shine into houses. I can appreciate the trucks entering the property from Haslet Parkway. Here's a question. How many hours of total work a day are you trying to fit in? Is it 8, 10, 12 hours? Are you planning for crews to work in shifts to cover as much as you can in a 24-hour period? When are the crews supposed to stop for the night? Just trying to get an idea of how many hours you're trying to fit in. As of right now, I'm requesting you go with option 4 to allow to start at 4 a.m. Monday through Friday. And then who would we report any concerns regarding the concrete pour or any other aspect of this construction job? And I think that James Tucker also asked the same question for a 24-hour contact. Thank you.
I will state that, we're not answering all those questions, but as a matter of what is in our ordinance, they can only work up to 30 minutes past sundown. That's in the ordinance. So it's not a 24-hour day operation. Our next speaker. Ms. Bridge?
Tracy Bridge.
You'd state your name and your address, please.
My name is Tracy Bridge. I live at 1212 Wildson Way. The reason I'm opposing this, I have an alternate work schedule at work. I get off work anywhere from 11:30 to midnight. By the time I get home and get to sleep, it's after 1 o'clock. If I'm having to listen to construction noise when I'm trying to get to sleep, there is no quality of sleep. My job requires that I am awake, that I am on the ball, and that I am able to perform my duties as expected. I cannot fall asleep on the way to work. I cannot go in the back and fall asleep because my job does not allow for that. I don't understand why this is even happening, because from 5:15 or whatever time you figure that the sun is going to rise to the time it sets, should be an adequate enough time to do this if they're doing their job properly. As far as the heat, it's Texas. Everybody knows it's hot in Texas. If you've worked in Texas, you know that you have to have some sort of shade, some sort of cooling, some sort of water provided for your employees. So it's not like this is the first time that someone in Texas has had to provide this for their construction workers. We're a working class neighborhood. Everybody in that neighborhood works to some extent. Disrupting our sleep, disrupting the children in the neighborhood, their sleep, for me is unacceptable. And the fact that, I mean, I can't speak for everybody in the neighborhood because I do have the unique situation that I work from 1 p.m. to 11 to 12. Other people, they're probably already in a deep sleep and they're going to be woken up, because unless you can guarantee that there will be absolutely no noise coming from that construction site, it's unacceptable for me. There's still going to be residual light, because no matter where you position those lights, it's going to light up that whole area. That's still going to be seen from the majority of the bedrooms that are facing that area. What are we supposed to do? You know, this is our home. This is our sanctuary. And I ask you, what would you do if this were your backyard? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Our next speaker, please.
Michael Belcher.
Mr. Belcher. If you please state your name and your address.
My name is Michael Belcher. My address is 1184 Wild Center Way. I also oppose this ordinance due to the fact we literally are right behind the site. And me being a Afghanistan PTSD having vet, the pounding, shaking, the noise, it irritates me. So I'm already having sleep issues as is, and we have animals. So the barking, waking us up. We work for the VA, so we get up early in the morning. We have to be up to work claims and do things of that nature. So me being on my point for veterans, and I'm a veteran, a war veteran myself, that kind of affects my attitude, my work, and my peace. As she said, that's our sanctuary. So, I mean, 1 o'clock is very early. And especially in my situation with my PTSD, trying to wind down, go to sleep, get some rest, and settle my family down, it's unacceptable, man. I mean, you gotta think about the people that live there. When we move there, it's peaceful. I understand they got a job to do, but we also have a life to live. So we just ask that y'all take that in consideration when y'all make your decision. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for your service. Our next speaker.
Our next speaker, Inez Hines, is that correct?
Real fast, sorry.
And the last name again?
Hines.
Hines?
Wes Hines, okay.
Mr. Hines, state your name and your address.
1198 Rose Crush Drive. So I'm, my wife and I we're 2 streets over from Pasky. But I can say unequivocally the tracked equipment that they're using for the earth moving equipment, just the noise from that, from whatever distance it is, echoes through the neighborhood. Sounds like it's coming from across the street. And my house faces away from the project here. So if I'm sitting in my front yard, I'm looking outside, it sounds like there's a tank rolling down our street. It's earth moving equipment, but that's the level of noise. So I'm here in opposition. Not going to drag this out, but I would ask, as they've asked, if this was 500 feet from your house, how would you vote? You let someone start working at 1 a.m. It's not necessary. So thanks.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Our next speaker.
The next speaker is William Bridge.
Mr. Bridge? If you would state your name and your address, please.
My name is William Bridge, 1212 Wild Center Way. And actually, most of my questions have already been asked, but I do have one. Concerning these beepers, I understand they're going to be turned off. That also applies to the cement trucks coming in to the facility. They're going to be turned off too?
The beepers only go off when the vehicle is in reverse.
But the cement trucks
But
are
yes,
backing up.
correct.
Okay, then my main question then would be, has OSHA given a variance on this? Because that's a safety hazard.
OSHA does not require that. OSHA and the Transportation Code are the two bodies that have say on it. OSHA does not require it. In fact, they state that flagmen or observers can be used in lieu of backup horns. The Texas Department of Transportation is worded very similarly. They do not require the use of horns if the backup can be done in a safe manner. And that would bring in the use of flagmen or observers.
My final objection then would be the fact that the council has already decided that construction cannot start before 30 minutes prior to sunrise. I respect or ask that you do that. There's no reason for starting at 1 a.m. in the morning. That's ridiculous. 5 a.m., I could go with that. But basically, the council has stated that there are variances from, you said, half hour before and a half hour after sunset. Hold them to it. That's all I've got then. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Our next speaker, please.
Melanie Penn.
And last name again, what was that?
Pino.
Yep.
Ms. Pino, please state your name and your address.
Yes. Hello, my name is Melanie Pino. I live at 1188 Wild Center Way, which is one of the properties directly behind on the south side. I'm speaking in opposition to the requested overnight construction next to the Caraway community. While I'm understanding of the Texas heat, my backyard faces the construction zone and would create a nuisance to the residents' quality of life and would disrupt their sleep for the adults and children in the neighborhood with a 1 a.m. construction start time. This creates a severe health, mental health, and safety risk for the residents. The current ordinance prior to sunup seems sufficient to protect the workers from the summer heat, while it does not create a nuisance to the residents during the overnight. I ask the mayor and council to please consider, if this were your street, your neighborhood, how would you feel about this proposal? And please hold the construction company to the current sufficient, adequate request for the ordinance. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next speaker,
Chris Gross.
Ms. Gross. You state your name and your address.
Good evening. My name's Chris Gross. I live at 1328 Wild Center Way. I was here for the council meeting when there was a question of rezoning the area at Harmon and Haslet Parkway. I was very impressed with the council then holding that company to standards of control for lighting, noise, and basically what they're backed up is cattle ranch area. There was a couple houses, I think, on that street that may be abandoned at this point, but the council was very adamant about what they expected from that company if they were to come in and do those things. We have ordinances in place that were known to the builders when they came in. Texas heat is known to everybody that comes in. I understand they're making steps to minimize the impact of the noise, but it is still going to be an impact to the community. We have a thriving neighborhood of taxpayers and voters that would like the ordinance that's in place held. Council has, in the past, been strong with companies when they want changes to zoning with expectations. But if we're going to set expectations and not uphold those, what is the ordinance in place for? Residents, I feel that we need to have the ordinances upheld. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next speaker.
Our next speaker is someone who submitted their comments through email, asked for them to be read.
Is it one page?
Yes, Lori Hayes,
Very good, please.
1528 Indigo Way. I live in Caraway subdivision, and we have been informed that there will be a meeting to discuss and perhaps vote on a construction variance order. The company that is building warehouses north of our subdivision on Haslet Parkway are asking for permission to do concrete and maybe other loud and disturbing construction at 1 a.m. near our neighborhood. I am asking that you respectfully listen to our residents and do not approve and construction and any others are requesting to do at abnormal hours. This is beyond acceptable when there are daylight hours to do their work. I hope to be able to attend the meeting, but my daughter's having surgery earlier that day. I hope you can understand I would absolutely be there under normal circumstances for me. Thank you for reading this and hopefully listening to our community residents. I'd like to add my biggest concern is that there is precedence that could be set if disruptive construction work is approved to be carried out at any time of day. This kind of approval or permission for future developments to work at any hour would negatively impact our neighborhood and residents. Most specifically, the construction of the warehouses on Haslet Parkway because of their proximity to Caraway. Moreover, any future construction and development all around our subdivision is concerning. We have plenty of undeveloped areas still. Will the city council vote in favor with little regard for us and tell us we have to bear with the growth and all the noise that it brings? I hope that the city council will consider the residents that are affected by construction and disallow any and all hours. Sincerely, Lori Hayes.
Very good.
The next speaker cards I have are people that wish to show their opposition but do not wish to speak.
All right, if you read their names and addresses.
Michael Betancourt, 1715 Primrose Place in Haslet. Beatrice Pacellero, 1200 Wild Senna Way in Haslet. And Sarah Boynton and Trevor Boynton, 1208 Wild Senna Way.
Are there any others, speakers, in your letters or emails?
Not that I have.
All right. Do we have anybody online?
No, sir.
There is nobody online. Is there anyone else in the chambers who would like to speak? Would you like to speak, ma'am?
Yes, Kayla Hagan, 1232 Wild Senna Way, opposes.
Very good. All right, given there's no one online and there's no one else in the chambers, I close this public hearing at 8:09 p.m. Item 3 is discuss, consider, and act. Okay, council, it's yours.
Mayor Halsey, I'd like to start if you don't mind.
Please.
You know, I'm torn on this subject because being in the construction field, I can understand where Mr. Bell is coming from. But as a resident of Caraway myself, I can't in good faith sit here and listen to all my fellow residents have an opposition to something and vote to it. And food for thought that I put on the table for council to chew on is look at any other variance we do within the city, right? You know, normally when somebody is looking for a variance, we've set the ordinances for our city for a specific reason, to keep things within a reason, within line. The only time we ever really go beyond that or outside and grant a variance is if there is a specific hardship that said person/company can present to the council and really come to the table of why they should do that outside the normal range of what we've already approved and set before. In this instance, in my opinion, I don't see the hardship that meets that threshold for us to overturn and not listen to the many people that showed up tonight for this meeting and to take the time out of their own schedules to come let us know what they think. So I don't see the variance being met to a level of extraordinary needs, but again, that's my opinion for everyone else in the council to think about as well.
All right, thank you. Council.
Mayor Halsey, while I do appreciate the attempt to stop the noise and with the wall and the backup beeps, I was looking, today's sunset was at 6:26, sunrise, and then sunset would be 8:24. So I feel 30 minutes prior and 30 minutes after is a long day of work. So I'm in agreement that the 1 a.m., even the 3 a.m. is an unreasonable time to start work.
Can I ask a point of clarification?
First, address the mayor or the chair.
Address you?
Yes.
Mayor, I would like to ask a question of clarification.
We're training.
Sorry, it's my first council meeting. Still getting all the mechanics going. If our ordinance is 30 minutes before sunrise and 30 minutes after sunset, those hours are very different throughout a year. So you would be allowing them to work roughly what Tanya said, 12, 14 hours in the summer, but it would be down to 6 or 8 hours if they're still working in November or December. Is there some way that we could equal that out and still be within reasonable hours so that they could work till 8 o'clock the whole year round instead of having to stop at 4:30 or 5 in the middle of the winter when it gets dark earlier? That's my point of clarification.
Thank you. Council.
I think that's a great point. I don't know if that's something that we would have to come back.
That would take some mathematics.
Right.
And discussion with the developer, et cetera. That's not a question we're going to answer here. Are there other council members that would like to make a comment? There is none. Mr. Hort?
No, I'm trying to figure out how to ask this, actually, but, right now we're looking at a variance from May to November, I think was the time frame. So the question is, would you actually be, and it's more directed at stream, would you actually be pouring day in and day out from, May to November? It just seems excessive, you'd actually be doing pours 5-6 days a week for 7-8 months.
The pours would not be daily if we were able to start earlier and make larger pours. The pours would be daily if they become smaller pours, and our timeline is shortened.
Did I hear you in your presentation that if at one of the times, I don't recall which, is it would be maybe 3 pours a week?
2 to 3 pours a week, yes, sir.
2 to 3 pours a week versus if you start at the listed hours that's in the current ordinance, that would be every day?
Yes, sir.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Hart?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, council, we could entertain a motion, please.
Mayor Halsey?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion denying the variance request for the potential construction noise outside of daytime hours as presented.
Outside of daytime. Let me get a clarification on that. So you're denying the request outside of the already listed hours of construction in the ordinance?
I'm denying the variance request as presented and adhering to the ordinance we have in place. You want me to add that?
Yes. Motion's been made to deny the noise variance request for that deviate from the current ordinance defined construction hours. Is there
Mayor
a
Halsey,
second?
I'll second that.
Did you second that?
Yes, sir, I'll second
Okay.
that.
There is a second. All in favor? Any opposed? There's 4 for and 1 opposed. Motion passes. Your variance request is denied. Executive session, we have no need for executive session. 10 is mute. The following agenda items you'll be seeing here in the near future. If I get a motion to adjourn,
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
the motion's made to adjourn. Is there a second? Is there a second?
A second.
There is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you, council.